Hey guys, this is Disha. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are here to talk about the national education policy that has just been brought to light 2 to 3 days ago. Let's see what it means for you and me. Okay, so it looks like the government has carefully considered this. This is the first Education Act that has been passed in around 34 years, and they have polled around 2 lakh people to come to the points that they have brought in the final act. So it seems like a very detailed and thorough process. So even Sanbit Patra has recently said that this is the first education act that has been passed in the 21st century. So this is probably the newest education reform that has been done. Let's first discuss what is wrong with the education system as it is today, that is at the time of this recording. Okay, so let me just list out some of the issues that I find with the education system that we have been following so far. Okay, so the first is it's not very flexible. Like I said, it's very rigid compared to systems of Germany, USA, and such countries. And one more thing that always has made me very nervous, even when I was going through this stage, is you have to make decisions that impact your entire life at a very young age of 15 or 16, where you might not even know what you want. Not only that, there is no vocational training. That means other skills that you might be interested, be it cooking, carpentry, whatever. You don't have an option to explore that as a career at all. Most people are in the race of becoming either engineers or doctors. Okay, that, and there is a whole lot of emphasis on rote learning. So if your memory is good, then you're set. Okay, you can memorize everything and pass every exam there is. So there is no actual evaluation of the mental capacity of the student. So people who are smart but not capable of memorizing stuff may not get ahead. That, and then even when you come to the UG section or when you come to colleges and universities, there is rigidity even there. So you cannot go from one stream to another. Once you have selected something, that's it. In other countries, you can choose courses that might not be directly related to your core course. Okay, so that is one more restriction that is there. And then there comes the point of economics. Just by being poor or from an economically backward part of society, your education is very stunted from the very beginning. You don't have options to go to private schools that give you good options, and maybe you will find some classes there that help you with your hobbies, but not so in government schools. So these are the problems that have plagued the education system so far. So now let's see how the government has addressed these issues with this new bill. The first major change is that until now we had the system of 10 plus 2, right? So now we have a new system which is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, so let's see what the breakup is from ages 3 to 7. Okay, which is a very foundational age. It is also called a foundational stage. We have Anganwadi, LKG, UKG, first and second standard. Okay, so during this time, the kids are focused more on holistic development and learning through playing and games and running around and all this stuff. Okay, so it's more fun to learn it rather than just make the kids sit in a row and memorize things. Okay, so that's the first stage, foundational stage. Okay, so the next stage is the preparatory stage. So this is from ages 8 to 11. Okay, so that's from 3rd grade to like 5th grade. So here the students will be introduced to the different subjects such as science, maths, social science, and unlike before, there will be even some emphasis on humanities, like maybe basics of psychology or something like that. And there will be a focus on life skills as well. Another highlight of this period, that is a preparatory period, is the students can study in their regional language or in their mother tongue. That means there is no compulsion for English. So that can be a really great thing for people who find English very difficult and might understand concepts better in their native languages. Okay. One more rule that they have brought out is that at least 2 out of 3 languages that the kids study should be Indian languages. That means if you have taken one as English, the other one can be Hindi or Sanskrit. So that's how they have proposed to make changes to the current system. The next stage is the middle school age. So that is from 11 to 14 years. And subjects will be taught as designed. However, the highlight of this is that students will have coding classes. So just like kids in other countries, 12-year-olds in India will be able to learn how to code. Okay, so that puts them at a really huge advantage because we know that skills like coding and all are very easy to learn when you're younger. Okay, So that's another really good thing. Plus, any teachers who also teach coding will be able to now get into schools and use that as their professions. Okay, and one more thing that I personally would have loved when I was in the 6th grade was the opportunity to intern. Okay, so kids in this system will be able to intern under professionals in their field of interest. So suppose I'm a kid, I want to learn painting. So I can go to a painter and intern there under them while I'm going to school from the 6th grade onwards, explore it and see if painting is for me. So that's another great reform that they have brought about. Okay. So next comes the secondary school. So secondary school is from 14 to 18 years of age. So this is what people refer to as high school. So it will be from 9th to 12th standard. And this, as we all know, is a really critical time in human beings' development. So during this time, the new curriculum will focus more on improving their analytical skills and equipping them with tools to choose the path of their life wisely. Okay, so I don't know what exactly that includes, but it sounds like a really good plan. Okay, and then there is another change for the examination system for these guys. So it will be like a semester system. So 2 semesters will be there in a year, and your final marks will be an aggregate of the final marks of each semester. So you cannot slack off and study only at the end of the year. You will have to pay attention throughout. Okay, and one more which I think is great news for everybody. There are no more streams. So there is no such thing as a science student, an art student and a commerce student anymore. So you can choose any subject that you like depending on your interest. For example, you're interested in physics and poetry, physics and pottery, physics and dance, ballet, you can choose that. So I think for the kids of now, it's a really good opportunity to develop holistically. Okay, so that is the breakup of the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So let's look at what other changes are there. Coming to the exam system, there are several changes in the exam system. So first of all, like I mentioned in the beginning, how there was an emphasis on rote learning in our school system up till now. The government claims that they will try to modify exams and questions in such a way that the emphasis will be more on understanding of the topic. They will be assessed on how their comprehension and application of the topic is rather than how good they are at memorizing this stuff. Okay, and plus another advantage is that the students can answer in their preferred language. And this is not just a change that is done in the way exams are conducted, even the results will reflect this. So the results will not just be about how many marks the student has scored in each subject. It will be a 360-degree assessment. So what they say or what they mean by 360-degree assessment is that what the person or what the child is like as a person will also be recorded in the report cards. Okay, this is done again with something called as a self-analysis report, where the child themselves will score them on certain parameters that will be decided. And then there is another part called peer analysis. So peer analysis is your classmates or the friends of that child will also rate the kid on certain parameters. Now this can go both ways, but hopefully they implement it in a good way. What I feel like this is a really good change, that kids know that just how many marks you get doesn't decide what you're like as a person. Holistic development is really important, and it's good that our exam and result system show that to them. So next come our college students. So what are the changes that happens in the college level? Okay, so first, how do you get into college? So what you will have is something called as a common aptitude test. So I think this will be implemented all throughout the country, something similar to the SATs perhaps, where the students will be checked on their thinking skills, problem solving, language, mathematical ability, like it will have various domains. And one more advantage of this is, suppose for some reason you have not scored well in your 12th marks, or you have gotten below the cutoff, you can use your scores from a common aptitude test and add it to your existing board exams to still get into college. So I think that's a really good change. And plus, one more thing that I would have loved if I had the opportunity to do college all over again is a multi-entry and multi-exit system. So what does this mean? So suppose you're a student who has gotten into a college, and after 1 year for some reason you have to leave. It can be anything, health related reason, family related reason, economic reasons. In the current system, you're done for. You will lose that degree forever. You just have to repeat the first year all over again if you want to get that degree again. But in a multi-entry, multi-exit system, you can just come back later, use that 1 year and just join second year directly. So this is really great for people who for some reason cannot complete or continue their studies. It doesn't mean that whatever they have studied is a waste. And then there is a little bit more to this. They will have something called as an academic bank of credit. So basically, you will earn credits depending on how you do in each of your subjects, but these credits can be stored. And once these credits are stored, they can be transferred no matter when you decide to continue your college. So I think that's a really interesting idea. Besides, there is a breakup of what level of degree you will get depending on which year you exit. Okay, so suppose you are a person who has been able to complete only 1 year of your bachelor's, you will not be forced to let it go to waste. You will be given a certificate. So you will get a degree of a certificate course. If you leave in 2 years, you will be given a diploma. If you leave in 3 years, you will be given a bachelor's degree. And if you complete 4 years, that is, a whole degree, you have successfully completed the entire term, then you will be given a research certificate along with your bachelor's degree. So this is really good. There is so much freedom, no stress for the students. Okay, and whenever you want, you can continue your studies. So this is really great. I really hope that this gets implemented soon because so many people can benefit from this. Next, we can move on to some other developments which are in general. So Sanskrit as a language is going to be emphasized all across the board in universities and schools alike. And plus, big colleges like, really respected and regarded colleges such as IITs will also be encouraged to include arts and humanities subjects in their curriculum so that students can have an interdisciplinary knowledge, and perhaps that will help them apply the technology or whatever they learn in a more socially conscious or socially altruistic way. Okay, so everyone can benefit from cross, subject or inter-stream information, and I think that's a good part. And one more thing is those students who have completed their masters and are lamenting the fact that they might have to do MPhil again, you won't have to worry anymore because MPhil will no longer be considered as a requirement. It's no longer a degree that is necessary. So suppose you're doing something like a master's in psychology, you can finish that and directly apply for a PhD. No need to do an MPhil in between. So that's really good. That is time saved. So next, what do these things mean for teachers? So of course, this will be it's a very radical change, and teachers will also have to be taught how to cope with this and how they have to do all the new things that is required of them. But the qualification for a teachers will be 4-year integrated BEd degree, and then the national curriculum or NCFTE will be developed to teach the teachers how to teach the students under the guidelines of the new bill. And it will have an NCRT base. So most of the syllabus that will be taught to these students, regardless of whether it is a public or private school, will have an NCRT base, which is really great. Next comes the question of fees. Okay, so good that all these changes are there, but what if you can't even afford to go to a school that gives you these options, right? So the government has considered putting a cap on the amount of fees that is permissible to be collected, and if this happens, then it is really good. Excellent quality education will become accessible to everybody, and I hope they bring this change really soon. Now we come to the expected outcome. So what does the government hope to achieve through all this? Okay, so some of the goals that they have set out, they are that they want to have a common standard of learning for both government and private schools. If it gets achieved, it's a great thing because most children who go to government school are not economically well off, and evening out the opportunity for them to set the course of their life in a way that they choose and are not forced to do it because of their economic condition. This is a really good change that can be brought about. Plus, they hope to achieve 6% of the GDP to be invested in education, okay, by the time. So that is again good because education is one of the foundational things that make a nation capable of standing on its own feet. They empower the youth, so education is not somewhere you can kid around. So that's another good thing that I really liked about this. And plus, they hope to achieve 100% enrollment ratio in preschools and also in the secondary level by the year 2030, which is again a really good thing, and I hope that this is achieved way before that. Next comes the question of when will these changes be implemented. So what they are saying, the MHRD has been saying that these will be implemented for the 21-22 batch So which to me seems like a really ambitious goal, because this is a very radical change, but I hope that that is true. At least we can take the baby steps that are required to implement this in full swing. So that's it about the National Education Bill. Hope you found this information useful. And I, for one, really love this new proposals that have been made and hope that they can be implemented soon. So most of the flaws that we listed out, so let's see, everything has been accounted for, including flexibility. The systems are more flexible now. There is no force to choose, the course of your life immediately, like when you're just 15, 16 years old. The students will not have to worry much if this fee cap is implemented, whether they'll be able to afford good education or not. Vocational training will also be there. You can even intern, so that's really good. And then plus you can choose courses from different streams even in your UG. That's another great change. So most of the problems that I listed, as the issues with the current education system, they have been addressed. Now all that's left is implementation. So I wish the government and the teachers and the students who are going to study in this new curriculum all the best. And it makes me feel really positive about the country in general, and it gives me really good hopes for the future. So thank you. That's it for today. See you next time. Bye.